In this section, we discuss several text manipulation functions. This brief presentation was organized by Dr. Alemi. Many fields in electronic health records contain free text. For example, medical and nursing notes are typically entered as open text. For another example, name of medications are typically presented as text fields. If we want to report the dose of the medication, one may need to write a code to analyze the name and extract the dose from within the name. Analysis and the manipulation of free text is an important part of SQL. There are many functions available. The character index and the path index functions return the location of a substring or a pattern in a string. Location information is used in other SQL commands to modify the string. The concat or the plus sign attach two or more strings together. Concat is one of the functions that we will describe at some length through this set of slides. The left and right functions extract a substring starting from left or right. Len and data length functions return the length of the specified string. Data length returns it in bytes and length in numbers. Lower and upper functions change a string to lower or uppercase so it's easier to read. L and R trim functions remove leading or trailing spaces from a string. Space adds it in. Replace function replaces a sequence of characters in a string with another set of characters. Substring functions extracts a substring from a string. Stuff function replaces the sequence of characters with another, starting at a specified position. The two sequences that are replaced do not need to be of equal length. In these slides, we will focus on concat and stuff function. All the remaining functions' syntax can be found on the web. We begin with concat function. This function joins one or more strings so that the end of one is the beginning of another. Think of it as a relay run, with each run segment being a string. You may also think of it as a way of adding text to each other. The syntax of concat function starts with the reserved word concat. The parameters of the concat function are specified in parentheses as columns of string separated by commas. Alternatively, one could simply write the strings and put a plus sign between them. Note that all fields must be text. Numbers must be converted to text before using the plus sign. Otherwise, it would just add the numbers. Here is an example. In this code, we want to attach three fields together. Each field is a binary text variable containing either 1 or 0. It's not a number one, it's a text one. The first field contains M for male and F for female. We use the case function to replace these values with text of 1 or 0. The second field is inability to eat. It contains a text binary field, so we're okay there. And the third field is inability to sit. This too contains a text binary field, and we are okay there. The plus sign instructs the computer to attach the two fields separated by the plus sign to each other. Now we have a new column of data with 3 0 or 1 text entry, each indicating if the patient is male, if the patient is unable to eat, or the patient is unable to sit. This concatenated new field contains the information in all three variables and thus may be easier to process. For example, using group by all variable will have the same results as grouping on the three variables separately. Concat function has joined the values of three fields into one field, each starting where the other one left off. Stuff function is also useful and has a more complicated syntax. The stuff function first deletes a sequence of characters of certain length and then inserts another sequence of characters into the string starting at the start of the deletion. The deleted length and the inserted string do not need to be the same length. The syntax of the stuff function is shown in this slide. All function arguments are required and must be specified before stuff works. The stuff function starts with the reserved word stuff, and inside parentheses, it provides the function arguments. The first entry is the field where we want to make the change. This field must be a text field. The second argument is an integer, or an expression that produces an integer. The integer indicates where in the string field we would like to make the change. The third parameter of the function is the length of the characters that we want to delete. The last parameter in the stuff function is a string that we wish to insert at the starting of previous deletion. Here is an example. We start with the string I am happy. The fifth character is the space between am and happy. We want to delete one character starting with the space. So essentially, we just want to delete the space between am and happy. In the last parameter, we specify what should be inserted starting at character 5. Instead of deleted space, we insert the new string not with leading and trailing spaces. We have now changed I am happy to I am not happy. Here is another example. Here we are instructing the computer to replace the second character in the string variable all with a dash. Recall that the all variable was a string variable containing binary indications of whether the patient was male, unable to eat, or unable to sit. The stuff command tells us to replace this string starting at the second, that's why we have the number 2 there, and at the length of 1 so with a dash. So that's why the parameters are 2, 1, and dash. If you recall, the second character was about the patient being unable to eat. We have now eliminated this information from the variable called all. You can see that in the column, all the second characters have been replaced with dash. Stuff is a difficult function to work with, as you need to know exactly which character in the field should be manipulated. You need to know the length of the string one must delete. You also need the exact text of the string that should be stuffed into the field. But once you know this information, you can manipulate sentences and words within them. You can cut out a word and insert another. You can do plenty of manipulations using stuff. Concat and stuff functions are needed in analysis of text data from electronic health records.